So before we get into the video, I just want to say one thing. This gameplay is horrible, I know. I haven't played this game in a while, so just bear with me. So now that I got that out of the way, now let's move on to what I actually wanted to talk about, which is the theories about all these teasers that you have been seeing. So my first theory comes from a Reddit post that I posted yesterday on the Infinite Warfare subreddit, and what I was talking about there is pretty much just the names about the game. So far we know these two names, Infinite Warfare and Legacy. So as for Infinite Warfare, this can mean two things. So the first thing that a lot of people believe is that it just literally means to be a war set in space. Now while this could be totally true, and it is probably the most likely, there's another thing that I believe that it could be. So what I believe that Infinite Warfare means is pretty much exactly what it says. It means that this war doesn't stop and there's no end in sight. It is limitless and endless, and of course that also means that it is in space. As for the Legacy edition of the game, the reason I believe they actually called it Legacy instead of just, oh here you go, here's the Modern Warfare Remaster, is because the Legacy is important in the game and the story, and I will be telling you why. Because there are a few quotes by the new teaser that just came out today that really explain what the motives of SDF are. So SDF is the Settlement Defense Front, and they are seemingly the enemy in the game, and the teaser that we got today had some pretty interesting quotes, and I will be reading them to you right now. From beginning to end, the video says, "Make no mistake, we will rip you from the history books. Every last trace of you gone. You will know loss. We will be the architects of your pain. We will build monuments to your destruction. The whole world will bear witness to this, our ascension. We will blot out your skies. We will bury you in darkness. Know this and know us. We are your enemy. We are the Settlement Defense Front." So I want to focus on the first quote, which is, "We will rip you from the history books. Every last trace of you gone." So a lot of people believe that this quote means that we will be time traveling and there will be fighting in time traveling, such as going back to the previous wars and literally removing the legacy, but I don't really think that is the case. I would say that since the game takes place in space, what would make more sense is for the IW-7 to be fighting against wherever the SDF are. The reason that these two are fighting is because the SDF literally want to get rid of the Earth, hence every last trace being gone, and the reason they want this is because they want to have a place that they can control. There are posters around Nuketown that were added today that say bounty, vigilance, strength, qualities expected from every citizen. The posters also have the SDF logo on it, which would confirm that the posters is for wherever the SDF are established. The reason this poster is important is because it displays the world that the SDF want to create. The only issue with that is, at this point, we don't know what the man from the teaser is. He doesn't wear anything in the teaser. He is bald all around, no facial hair, eyebrows, or hair. In Nuketown, however, he can be seen wearing some sort of head thing. I'm not sure what it is, but it can possibly explain something that is seen in the cover art for Infinite Warfare. The soldier on the Infinite Warfare cover is most likely an IW-7 soldier, and I would assume that he is just a normal human being who has to wear a space helmet to actually go into space, whereas the guy in SDF most likely has some sort of enhancement or something installed in him, which allows him to actually explore space more freely by allowing him to either breathe or not have to breathe at all. So far we have no idea what this guy is, and it is open to any possibility. Now as for the world witnessing their ascension, there's something interesting that I haven't seen anyone talk about yet. Charlie Intel posted a picture on Twitter about the name Genesis being in the code for the Call of Duty website and the Call of Duty YouTube banner. The interesting thing about this is that a month ago, there were rumors about the new Call of Duty being called Call of Duty Genesis. I don't know if what we have seen so far from the leaks is fake or if the name is a placeholder. However, Call of Duty Genesis seems to make more sense. The reason I say this is because through this theory we are experiencing the genesis of SDF's world. Genesis means the origin or mode of formation of something. And so far, isn't that exactly what is being said? They want to destroy the Earth and create a new life where they are in control. They don't want a trace of anything besides the legacy that they are creating, and the legacy they are destroying should be forgotten about. I wouldn't be surprised if the new game was or was ever thought about being called Call of Duty Genesis actually. So there's more proof that has been released while making this video that further prove that the SDF are trying to destroy the Earth and create their own world. On the Call of Duty Instagram, pictures were uploaded of the skull in a helmet with the caption. One of the captions seemed to threaten the IW-7 by saying, "Sato can't save you." Who is Sato? Think of Sato as NATO but for space. Now they also said, the UNSA or the United Nations Space Alliance won't hold. For those of you who don't know, NATO is an intergovernmental military, and SATO I would assume is just a space version. And except just intergovernmental, this time it would be the whole world. As for the UNSA, that can be the United Nations Space Alliance, which would handle the conflict between the SDF and Earth. SDF are most likely going to try to get rid of both of these organizations. Thinking about it now, the 7 in IW7 can possibly be for the 7 continents. This can possibly mean that the 7 continents will come together to fight against the SDF. So just to recap, the SDF want to be known as the only ones to have ever existed. Since this is a small teaser, there isn't much else to go off of other than they want to create the perfect world that the man in the teaser has envisioned. However, the Earth now has a common enemy, forcing the 7 continents to come together to fight against the SDF, not only to protect the legacy of the previous wars, but to protect the legacy that is the world that they live in. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like something that'd be on the back of the box, and if this does end up to be true, then that'd be actually really cool. If it doesn't, then, well, I guess it was actually pretty fun to come up with this theory, because there's just so much information that you can just take and mold and just understand in many different ways. I mean, this probably is way off, but it's pretty cool to imagine this. So that is what I think the story will most likely be about. I don't think I'm right, but I feel like the proof is there. We will definitely find out soon enough. But thanks for watching. If you guys have any idea on what you think the game will be about, let me know in the comments below. That is it, and I will see you guys later.